Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the greatest Christian show of all time. This is Christian Anarchy Today, where we say a bunch of random stuff and then throw Christ into it to make it holy. I'm Ethan Foster here with Shawn McCraney and Steve Utley. Glad that you could join with us today. Our topic for today is the laws of the land versus the laws of God. Shawn, lead us out.
It fascinates me because the laws of the land versus the laws of God. And from there, we have people who are Christian who say, I'm not going to pay my taxes. We have people who say, I am going to rebel against the government because it's not representing who I am as a Christian. And it's just endless. So I love the topic, not articulating it well. I want you guys to throw something in so I can springboard off your ideas.
Or pounce on our bad ideas.
Pounce on your bad ideas.
Yep. We'll take particularly American society. The whole point of, well, not the whole point, but one of the reasons the Founding Fathers designed our government the way it is to keep church and state separate. A lot of Christians don't like that. They intentionally made it that way so the corruption of church, which has been a problem in Europe for centuries by that point in time, would not corrupt the government. So it's
and the government wouldn't corrupt the church.
Exactly. Keep them separate. Now, the Constitution was based off of principles from Christianity and Judaism, but it is not. We are not a Christian society. It is a myth that we are a Christian society. In fact, many of our founding fathers were not Christian. They were deists and went from a secular mindset. So in terms of the laws of the land versus the laws of God, it depends on which law you're talking about. In American society, unless we're talking about abortion, I would say there's not much contradiction between the New Testament laws of God and American society.
But God wants it to be legal for everyone to have AR-15s. Haven't you heard that?
I don't know which verse you're looking at. Now, on my secular side, I would say yes, Second Amendment. But God doesn't command it.
I know. Christian gun culture says God commands us to have AR-15s.
I feel like that's abusing the name of God. Just saying that God commands that Donald Trump be president, even though he slept with multiple women while having 3 wives.
But I mean, if the government says no guns, then God says you must do it instead of following the rules and whatever.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be separate from it.
What does Paul say about following the laws of the land and kings that are put?
He said we ought to respect it.
That's right. So what is the Christian approach to the laws of the land when they are placed upon us?
You respect it.
Mm-hmm. You follow them.
Now, unless, such as Roman society at that time, Paul was disrespecting the authority, not disobeying, I would say, by proclaiming the name of Christ, because they said, don't proclaim the name of Christ. So the only thing that we are to disobey is when it comes to proclaiming the kingdom of Christ.
And then we choose Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a law that goes against your Christian conscience, are you to obey it?
No.
But I don't see many laws that really go against the Christian conscience.
I don't either.
They don't usually, not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. They used to. And people would argue, well, unless you're in China, right? They have some anti-Christian laws.
So what if you're in Nazi Germany and you're a Christian and Hitler rises to power and he says, let's kill the Jews and the gypsies and the gays? Do you, as a Christian, work the concentration camps?
No, you don't work there. I think...
What if you can make it better for the people in the concentration
Well, that's
camps?
different. If you can use that as an opportunity to make their lives better, then sure. But if you're directly participating in the evil of the killing of Jewish people, then that obviously is
So to
Christian.
take it further, I was just talking to my friend Kathy, and she's reading a book about Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And Bonhoeffer, who was a Christian, he went and he tried to have Hitler killed as a Christian. Mm-hmm. So what do you think on that?
This goes back to our, I believe it was our gun conversation, where we mulled over these ideas, defending yourself or not, going against the government in this situation or not. And my argument from that show would come into play here again, which is live to fight another day sort of thing. Because these things usually don't last forever. So as we know with that, it didn't last forever.
I worry about the slippery slope of Christians justifying assassinations of someone they don't agree with, no matter who it is. Because if they take out Hitler, there could be a Christian who says, we better take out who you've called Sleepy Joe.
Well, the Christian call wasn't to overthrow the government in the first place. It was to live among it, and live the Christian life in spite of those laws that happened. They weren't trying to assassinate
I think the Christian
people.
call is to invade the secular world in terms of secular kingdoms, not a specific government, but to invade the secular kingdom in terms of what the world is and grow the kingdom of Christ.
Yeah, but that's spreading ideas, not spreading by force like
I'm just
crusade
making
style.
that distinction for people out there.
And just because the government, for instance, makes marijuana legal does not mean that a Christian has to smoke it.
Yeah.
Or just...
I don't know, man. That's what I heard.
Just because abortion, that's the thing I don't get. Just because something's legal, abortion, drug use, whatever, it doesn't mean the Christian has to do it. The Christian can still operate by their own conscience.
Well, with things specific as abortion, I use secular arguments to go against that. But in terms of a Christian conscience, it is contrary to Christian philosophy. But
that's an important point. If you're talking about Christians going all anti-abortion laws, because you can be anti-abortion but not be anti-abortion laws. You know what I mean?
Well, the issue is, and you and I have had this discussion before, is if we look at it from a purely secular standpoint, just keep religion out of it. We have laws against murder in this country, which is obvious. We all agree on them. But when we talk about whether scientifically, which it's easily provable, that a distinct human being at conception is formed, then we should say that because of that, they have the constitutional right to life. Don't bring God into it. Right there, I disproven the case against abortion.
I would disagree with you.
I disagree too. I don't think that's the strongest argument. The stronger argument is requiring us to pay for it by taxes. That's really the only relevant issue in that thing, in my opinion.
I don't think so, because I think the fundamental purpose of government in our society is to protect life, liberty, and property. And you cannot have any of those things if you don't protect the right to life. So it is a responsibility of the government, just by the philosophy of the Constitution, to protect life. And that is giving people the right, if they have consensual sex, if a baby is formed because of that, they have to carry on with that pregnancy.
Wait. What if it's endangering the mother's life?
Well, that's different.
No, wait. What if
that's different. I support abortion in those.
How could you if it's taking life?
Because the life of the mother is also at risk.
But isn't the life of the child more important because it's
younger and it's more innocent?
It has
necessarily
more life to live.
Yeah, why do you get to make that the mother's life is more valuable than a baby's?
That has to go more with a philosophical stance.
No, it has to do. If you can take life anytime, it's taking life.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
it's a difficult deciin, but
no.
It's
either you can take life or you can't. You're saying
not
you can't.
necessarily.
Okay.
Because Shawn, well, you know what? You're the wrong person to discuss this with.
No,
Steve.
discuss it with me.
That's right. I can take him.
If someone were to walk into my house,
I can take him.
if someone were to walk into my house, and we've had this discussion before, uninvited, they were coming to rob the house and threaten my family, I would shoot them. Now, that is killing them. But it is because of the consequences of them being in there and killing my family that we have to make these separate distinctions. So murder is not, killing someone is not always a bad thing.
Taking life is not always a bad thing.
Exactly, because God, He commands in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill, but then proceeds to go kill wicked nations.
Okay.
So there's a difference in that. So it's not necessarily protect all life and then get rid of some of it.
You are saying that just
that.
because something's regenerating to 12 meters in DNA, that is a human life. It's not a breathing human life. It can't self-sustain. There's all sorts of things that you have implied to that DNA code.
Self-sustain does not mean human life. What is human life? How are we going to define that? Because that's where the
I define
whole
it as
debate
when something's breathing. Because
Really?
when it stops breathing, it's not alive anymore.
Not necessarily.
What do you mean?
If I were to
Wait,
hold up.
If a human
Hold up.
stops breathing,
Hold
they're
up.
not alive anymore.
But we have technology to keep them breathing.
Oh, but
hold up,
you
hold
can
up,
turn
hold
that
up.
off too.
Hold up. Breath does not necessarily imply life because
Why?
Hold up, Sean. Because then you would support late-term abortion right there. Because if you,
I'm not supporting either thing. I'm just arguing.
just by that.
No. I'm arguing
let
your
me finish,
point.
Sean.
Your point is
Let
what?
me finish.
Go
this.
ahead.
Before a baby is born,
Yeah.
how do they get their oxygen?
From the mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they breathing?
No.
So
The mother's
they're not
breathing.
human.
The
No,
mother's
they're
breathing.
not. Exactly. That's why when the baby comes out and takes a breath.
So when I forgot, I think it's a psalm. God said, when David says, "You formed me in the womb."
Yeah.
You don't think that's a direct connection for God? Now I'm going to the Christian side, saying that from conception, since I am knitting you in the womb, that you are alive. You are your own distinct
that's
person.
totally
don't
reading
think
into
so?
that. What I look to is Genesis, when God creates the clay and breathes into that became a living soul. I take breath as the sign. And I'm not saying I agree with abortion at all, but I'm saying your argument is not right. I don't agree with your argument.
I think what makes a human is the direct genetics of humanity, because that is how we separate species from genetic
So then
forms.
you would never support turning off life support.
That's not what I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
Sean?
Let me finish my point.
Okay.
You're saying that you don't end life because as long as the genetic components
Not
are there,
what I said.
as
Not
long
what
as
I
the
said.
DNA is there, it's a human.
That half of that's true. As long as the DNA is there, that is a human.
okay.
However, if someone's on life support and you know that they are going to die,
Yeah.
or they're never
it.
going to regenerate, they're brain dead.
Yeah.
Then why would you keep them alive?
Why would you keep something that has not breathed yet alive if it's
I'm not saying breath. I'm not
I am.
because they're breathing on life support. They have a machine that helps them breathe.
but you're willing to turn that life support off?
Because they cannot be alive as we are right now.
So
they can't be conscious.
Let's talk about a baby in utero that
Okay.
is seriously deformed.
Okay.
You're saying it's a life, there's no abortion.
As long as we can say that baby can live,
Right?
not living like Stephen Hawking. I'm sorry, Stephen.
Okay,
Hawkins,
wait.
but-
So you're
hold
saying
up.
there is a justification to end?
there
It's
is- there
such a-
is-
It's not as hard of a position as you're thinking.
It is-
You're wishy-washing every
That's
every
not
time.
wishy-washing.
It
There is
is.
justification for certain things.
Abortion should be illegal unless this happens, or this
Yeah.
happens, or this
Right.
happens,
Exactly.
or this happens,
Right.
or this happens.
Right.
Your
That's
list is
distinction. That's
never gonna
distinctions.
end eventually.
No,
dude.
no, that's not true. Because
There's-
again,
it's gonna be like.
Let's
never
go back
mind.
to the
I'm not
Bible.
gonna
There
get
is
into it.
distinction in certain things. If God says, "Thou shalt not murder," or "Thou shalt not kill," well, then, when God turns around and destroys the nation of Israel and causes 1 million people to die, does that make God a murderer? No, He was justified
Same thing
in that
with abortion.
action. That's what I'm saying. I said there's certain
Yeah, but
instances
you're
where it can be
defining what those
justified.
instances are instead of leaving it up between the mother and the doctor.
I'm wondering why you're taking such a wishy-washy position.
That's not a wishy-washy position.
It is though. You just showed that it was, because you would bring something up. Okay, what if the baby can't see? Is that living a proper life?
How far do you take it? It has encephalitis and it's going to be in a crib like this. But it's living.
That's the whole problem with, now you have to, in your argument, say that the minute the sperm attaches to the egg, that it's a life. Because if you don't,
Boom.
it has to be some arbitrary moment. You could say when the heartbeat or whatever. But it's so extremely arbitrary unless you say that. So at least you said that,
It's
that, I
at
should say.
conception of sperm
Yes,
and egg.
I said that's
human
a
life.
That's it, yeah.
I think that's a scientifically defined life right there.
Okay.
Now what you do with that is different. But
wait.
I would disagree with the breath argument, though. I adamantly disagree with that.
Yeah, I stand by it because it is the breath that gives life. That is what makes a human being that's living. You take the breath away from somebody, they're not breathing. They're dead until you bring the life back.
Yeah,
the
but
breath back.
when specifically talking with a baby that is in the womb,
Yeah.
its breath comes from the mother. Its
Yeah.
oxygen comes from
Right.
the mother. But is that baby not a human?
It's a human creation, but it's not living being yet. that zygote because of conception. You're giving it as much value at conception
Not what I
as
said.
a mother.
Not what I said. Not what I said.
Actually, you're giving it less value
No,
because you said if the mother's in danger, then we should kill that.
I think it has value. We can protect it.
I think it has value too.
Oh, I know, Sean.
Yeah.
I think it has value enough to protect it, unless there's these very rare given circumstances.
When you say
not
very
that
rare,
rare.
it's
It is.
over.
It is very
lost
rare. It is very
Not
rare.
with your giant list, dude. Your list is going to
It's
take
not
up
a giant list.
half of the abortions.
I have two things on my list. If it provides if there's a danger to the mother's life, or if it's a rape case, because that takes away.
What about the baby?
Oh, that is
Hold up.
rape case.
Yes,
It's
because
still a baby.
You're adding
rape case
Sean.
has nothing to do with
the
it.
very beginning of my argument, I stated that.
A mother and a woman and a man come together, and create.
Yes,
I heard that.
consensual.
But
Consensual.
you're
There's
saying
a
that a rape
choice.
case is not a human being? That's a different
Not
product?
what I said.
What are
I
you
said
saying?
you did not choose to have that.
So? I mean, someone didn't choose to have a baby if they had intercourse in the backseat of a car in a moment of passion either. They fell to sin, it happened, and they got pregnant, and you want them.
Sean.
But you're saying
Sean,
a rape is not a baby.
Sex
It's basically
is
anytime somebody doesn't try specifically to have a baby, it's not their choice to have the baby.
Right.
Is the problem.
But the issue is.
What about a condom that breaks?
Steve?
Ooh.
You know how a baby.
Do they
forms.
break?
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
What about a condom that breaks?
You're still performing the act that creates a baby. That's the only purpose of sex. That is the reason.
That's the
sex
only
exists.
purpose of sex.
That is why sex was an evolutionary design.
What about couples that have been married that are having sex but not for kids?
Humans get pleasure from it, but the actual act of sex is to create children. That is the purpose of sex, to create children.
Then you shouldn't be having sex with your wife
Unless
you
said.
have
Not what I
kids.
said. Steve,
I'm not sure on this one. We
I am
covered it,
absolutely
but we
sure on
didn't
this.
cover it adequately.
I'm
This is
absolutely
kind of
sure
funny
it is.
because I've had this debate with my fiance a bunch of times, but usually I'm arguing from
Yeah.
Ethan's position.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just interesting. But
And if men could have abortions, we would make it hallowed and a sacrament.
Yes.
But because we can't, we can have all the opinions we want on it, can't we? We
Yeah.
can say, no, it's this and that. It's all in this case, but that's it. No way.
yeah, I mainly, my arguments are not really from a Christian perspective. It's more from it's secular stuff, political stuff that I disagree with. It's an anarchist
logical
argument.
stuff.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't logically make sense that you can end the life of a product from a rape, but you can't end the life of a product from a broken condom.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But that does not mean I think abortion's good, healthy, wise, anything. But I wonder about the logic that you're bringing to it.
Look,
How did we get on this subject?
I forgot, what's the actual topic?
I don't even know.
Oh yeah, it's
the law.
Yeah, the law.
The law.
I hope abortion's in that bucket so we can
It
come back
is.
to
I
it.
checked.
All right, for next week, final one. Whose turn?
Man, this guy's reaching into the womb of
doom.
destiny, womb of
It's
doom when we're
Steve's turn
talking
this
about
time.
abortion here. You're ridiculous.
Pull out a live baby, will you?
Oh God. This one's a whopper. All right, here we go. Okay. People are going to hate us for these jokes right now. We are going to have a firestorm on
Jeff,
our
I
hands.
stood up for you this time.
Yeah. Wait a second. Wait, before we go on, what does that mean?
It was a joke. Cut.
No. What
Cut
does
it.
it mean?
Cut it. What do you mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean? I don't know what you mean.
No. Jeff's a very pro-life guy.
And so what does that mean?
I said I'm representing the pro-life position here.
So are you representing the pro-life position that you believe that Christians should go out and do what Jeff does at abortion clinics?
No, you're taking my joke too seriously.
Oh, it was a joke. I'm just asking.
I just said that. Now
Let's
now
cover that
look,
quick. Actually, how far? What should Christians do now that we're supposed to be against or for abortions in some cases?
Hold up. Hold up. Y'all are putting words in my mouth. I said I use secular arguments for being pro-life. I said that at the very beginning. Now, have I participated in pro-life marches? Yes. Not as a Christian, as a secular person who believes that it should be ended in the United States for various reasons.
Were you a Christian when you did it?
Yeah, I'm a Christian when I do it.
So I was going to ask.
But I have several secular beliefs about specifically about abortions
But
targeting.
Jeff Durbin, is this a secular approach or is this a
No,
Christian
no, no.
approach?
His is absolutely Christian.
But you decided with him.
But I just said it was a joke, and I fully support the actual protest. I just think you shouldn't use the name, use the Christian, represent Christianity with that. You can use the name of Jesus in supporting life, but I think there's a better way to do it.
Do you think God has built into the equation abortions when it came to the repopulation of the earth? Do you think he kind of realized, yeah, there's probably going to be about a 20% are going to be aborted, so I'm going to make up for that in
Overcompensating with more sex.
Teenagers. And
He has a sex drive knob, and it was set to 8 before, but now that abortions are going to
11.
happen, he went to 11. Yeah.
You know,
he's like, that'll do it.
You know how there's some radio networks that after the person's done with the show, it says, whatever this person says does not necessarily represent the view of this station. I'm saying that here. Whatever these two say is not necessarily representative of me.
And likewise. And likewise.
Yeah.
In some things. I don't mind being against abortion as a believer, but I do mind your logic in it.
Yeah.
I
just
worry
think
about that.
We'll get back to it once we do another abortion episode.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what's the topic?
I already got it. Why does God allow suffering? Didn't we cover that
We
already?
covered that one.
Yeah.
That's
another one.
babies being...
Get out of here.
Sean,
Give birth to another topic.
Okay.
Sean, I've gotten many complaints about our studio setup. By the
Too
way.
bad.
I didn't look at it. I'm not Ethan.
Those people who don't like the setup, tell them there's a wall over there. Bite it.
You guys are gonna. Who causes world calamities?
Ooh.
Calamities.
Isn't that kind of what we were?
Yeah, throw that away.
Okay, let's just say
Now
let's say a word on it. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Here we go. I think that was more like
I think
does God cause
I
suffering?
think we're winding to the end of our...
Yeah. Illegal drug use.
We've done this already.
Yeah. Let's
Sean,
go.
this is all your fault.
created these?
You.
I must have had some illegal drug use in my mind when I
Yeah,
did
I
it.
guess.
All right, finally, this one we're going to do.
So such a funny one after all those. Does God? I'm sorry.
You want me to
Does
read
God
it?
want us to go to college?
Oh, that's awesome.
The comedic timing of that one in my mind was too funny for me to say.
Steve's crying on
Abortion,
Saturday.
drug use, calamities. Does God want us to go to college?
It's too good.
Yeah.
All right, well, next week here.
We're going to college.
Out! Oh my God.
It's perfect comedic timing.
It's too good.
Oh yeah.